one that saw me in my share. Clean me up and gave me a new name. Told me that I'm free, I'm not.
Ke le dumedisa ba bogedi go le le gaufi mo le ka le bogetse le gona ke a go amogela go Asen Hours TV. This is the Elevation Point le Moruti, and I'm here today with our first guest ever, Mr. Mabona. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Hey, man of God, first guest ever. Yeah,
the first guest ever of our show.
No, thank you very much, man of God. I'm honored actually to be the first guest ever. Meaning this is history in making. No one ever will come and say I'm the first guest.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much, man of God. Igama Patrick Machiane Mabona, well known as Ukanatla, but my first name Opa, which is one name in No, I'm glad to go to La Nyamalala because most of people abanalelo kama bagcine babo mabloza bra Opa. So the name Kanatla rescued me from that.
Ukanatla in Istakazela?
Not really, Mfundisi. Ukanatla, it's a name referring to a giant, ngesindebele. Yeah, Sinatla, yes. Kanatla, it's Sinatla, yes. And it derived from as far as 1976, the Kwabana Matota ayebuya somewhere in Abobaba, and they were then called Idinatla because of statue sabo. Yeah, so Minage, how did I get it? I think it was around 95, 96. And I'll do something actually benzo ukoko zaluma bekayithanda lento ukuthi uzocima iTV, then uzo iTV kuzodlala iscreen, then avulela radio, because there was a guy called Ukanatla Mbonani who was a radio presenter from Ikwekwezi FM.
The late, ne?
Yes, the late, may his soul rest in peace. And they used to do this no baba utisco mapena during those days. So Ukoko had this love for Ipola and boxing for that matter. So she will then use the TV as a screen, but want to listen to the radio. And remember,
I believe because the radio then.
Yes. And you'll kumbula ukuthi the waves were radio akichima kakhulu kunewe screen. Uthola ukuthi the one oku radio sekathe lingenile ngale kanba cross ibola. So we grew up with that thing. Sase siyayithanda ke lento. And during upper week, upper day at school, there was a day la they said wonke umuntu akenza into ayithandayo. And one of the good days, he says, Vuseni Primary School, I then said,
sorry to cut you short, man of God. Yes. I've known you for more than 15 years now.
Yes.
I'm sure I can say about 18, 20 years.
Yes.
And from, I don't know whether you were still at school then. I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Because I remember you used to be a referee or something like that.
Yes. I'm a former SAFA referee, by the way. I went as far as being a SAFA referee. And usually when we tell people in 2010, the Orlando Stadium, before it was presented to everybody, we went there and did international under-19 tournament, and I was fortunate to be one of the referees who did that tournament.
Oh, that's great.
So as a referee and with the love of football, the name Ukanatla came about Siseskole and we upper week. So everybody in Zalama, whatever, the way beauty contest, you remember during our days at school and before Sisochali and all that, we will have that small Anyana show. People will present our talents. So one of the good days, I just stood there and ngasengenza izindaba and lochane makaya zindaba ze irle komba, and after izindaba there and there, I then said indaba ziphelela la asithatha indambo sizise kuGanatla Orlando Stadium.
You are jack of all trades. Because I heard you in one of our local soccer fields here.
Yes. Yes.
So I was asking myself, the talent, where is it coming from?
Exactly on that day, I think it was 1997, if not 6. While on stage doing my thing years in Daba, because the teacher had seen good no man when ukhulumela futhi wena ungaba right ukufundisa indaba or something, not knowing good there's this other talent engilifihlile enginokulibona loko liphume ekhaya nakuphela ibhola bese ngiyachubeka mina. Now I then said to kule party indaba ziphelela la sithatha indambo sichinge FNB Stadium kuneganatla ngani. Then I then said nzunza nomanala kuphina kuphi la kufina khona lo mhatsho uredo ndebele me thatha indambo ngizamkela kamnandi. Now that and people started screaming and all that, and I was like, hey, kaningenzani? And I thought whatever I was doing was wrong, but only to see ngaleza inkazi zethu imali yayisekhona enkangala nawenza into enhle wawuphonswa ngemali. So
it means you're making a lot of money.
so ngaphonselwa imali on that day, and since then the name started. Most of the people abalazi igama lami bazukanatla, and it's just a nickname. It's just a stage name, if we may put it that way. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Viewers at home, it looks like we are talking to a man with many talents here. Man of God, can you just tell us who Kanata or Machiano? Who's Alagupi?
I'm from an area Bizwange Waterfall, near Siabuswa. I was born in Waterfall A, which is two-line. The area is called two-line. I was born there, but they are from Waterfall B. So I was born there, and it was that area in Bogoto and all that. Man of God, to in Bogoto, La Pakwandebele Eposa. So after it, we then moved in family Akaboma to Ekangala. That's when we arrived like Kangala in an area called Taxiti. Taxiti. That is why I always refer to a light city, because what you say with your mouth is what you are. So, we are declaring. So, we arrived there. It was in the 80s when we arrived here.
Your primary school days, you started
here? Everything, you know. Between my primary and my high school, I went to Zivuseni Primary School, which is now called Zivuseni Full Service School. Then after that, I completed my matric Elingichu to secondary school.
Meaning you are son of the soil.
Yes, yes.
You studied everything here.
Everything here.
So now, later on, we have seen you joining politics. Is it something that you loved from the early age, or something that you grew to love?
Yeah, it's something that I grew to love, man of God. And obviously, when you are in an area where there's constant riots and strikes and all that, you then grow up upege somebody to hey, that guy uyayilwela le ndawo yethu, and ufikelwa ukuthi hey, but this man uyayilwela but ngathi akenzi lokho. Maybe if I can do this, then I then joined the youth league of the ANC. I worked with them up until the son of the soil, the CIC, Julius, went out in 2013. We went out together.
Yes. You followed him?
Yes. I was working with him. By that time, I was in the youth league of the ANC. So when he then said, no, he's starting his own thing. You know, at some point when a person is good to you, as a foreign, don't think he's going to be good to you, nasega ubabako. Yeah, because he was our brother. We worked good with him. We worked kamnandi sasebenza. But when it was now time for him to become ubaba githi, kwabonakala ukuthi and now in 2016 December, I then said, no man, let me go back home.
Or how about we say, ama true colors work?
Yes. If I were to put it that way, ngase ngibona about true colors. As I'm saying, Guti, don't think when a person is good to you as a brother, will be good to you as a father. I'm referring even to a family. Abazot nakufande kwenziwe ama letter of authority to Baba Shonile. But no, Uputi will be good to us. He's been good. Kandabazo Guti now, the more irresponsibility kupuga pezwake is the more naye acala amila amathumba phansi kwamakhwapha and
Yeah, no, we understand.
so kuba into enjalo. Then I decided in 2016 to say, no man, I think it's high time I leave politics. I then put in my resignation in December 2016 to the EFF and ngayohlala phansi. But again, not knowing ukuthi bese ngizakhela igama in the community with whatever I was doing, angazi nami, because mina whatever I do it out of love. So abantu bebabona enye into, mina ngibheke enye into. In that nangiloko ngisiza abantu, ngiloko ngiyenhla ngenyuka ngiyale nale. Then come 2020, the people come to me and say, "Aye, Connor, we are seeing a leader in you. We need you back." And then again,
That's how you went back to politics.
I went back to politics, and fortunately, the people who were then behind me at that time made sure they present me good to people, and to because of grace, it was like people were waiting for me, because in a manner which I won the elections, especially within just after coming out of the ANC, going to the community. You could see people were waiting for such a leader. So that is why I then opened my arms and said, let me lead.
It makes sense, because we once saw you as a councillor candidate, the EFF.
Yes.
And then later on, the next year or the next coming years, we saw you again as a candidate in the ANC. So
Exactly.
now many people were asking themselves, when's Zagalani? But now, since you are putting it this way, it makes a lot of sense to us.
Man of God, I was not only a candidate of the EFF in 2016, but I was the regional convener of the EFF, convening we used to call it Tshwane Far East, meaning the former Mitsweding. I was a convener of that region, deployed by the EFF. Then I became the councillor candidate of the EFF, and we went to the Mangaung First National Conference, and many things happened there. That's when you see Nasbuya Mnitama went out, and Mnitama, many people just went out, because that's where we saw true colors in Mangaung, in our first national conference of the EFF. Then we came back, because there's one thing, I don't want to talk more politics in this show, but there's one thing in the EFF. Once you come top, they always find ways of dragging you down. And I say this without fear, favor, or prejudice. You can ask Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Mbuyiseni was one person who was loved by everybody in the EFF. But just after getting his doctorate and getting all that, and seeing that people loves him, they took him off the limelight and said, no, go there, you see, because you'll ask yourself, why was he removed as the spokesperson of the party? Because everybody loved him. They loved his singing. They loved, we loved everything about him. Why take him out of the limelight? So
he looks like a good man, though.
He's a very good man, a God-fearing man, for that matter. I've worked with him several times. A God-fearing man, for that matter. So that thing, that's what drives him. Because remember, the Bible says, "Seek ye first and His righteousness, and all." It says all. Now, when it says all, it means leadership skills, all, just all. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Uba Mabona, Kanata, Kamashian. And now, as the conversation is escalating here, I sense ubufundisi ubuwe. The more we talk, I sense ubufundisi. I know that we are a pastor, but
yes.
I've heard you since we started talking here. Kunela ufaka khona ubufundisi. Le ndaba ubufundisi yona iqale kuphi njani? Is it a calling, or is it something that you love? And you just decided to go, let me go be a pastor.
Mfundisi, you'll be surprised. Mina-ke nakunento bengayifuna empilweni was to be umfundisi. Because when we grew up, abafundisi were regarded as these people ekufanele bagcoka ama-kick and bhobozi, bafaka babe madlikidliki, so wacala waba muhle, udla imali yesonto. So abafundisi at that time bekuwabantu esazi ukuthi abantu abahlala emasontweni lapha
Mission houses.
mission house. So if umfundisi lo muntu onganalutho, we never thought ukuthi one day umfundisi angakwazi ukuba nebhizinisi at the same time be umfundisi. We thought ukuthi kuba umfundisi vele nje holy kushuthi ukuba holy ukuba nenwele enkulu ungakhathi isijiko no ube nentshebe uhlangahlangana nje and bese kuba ukuthi umfundisi ke lo. But ke one thing engangiyenza nceku growing up kwakuyilento MC ama events.
Okay.
MC ama events, not knowing ukuthi kunento nje khona, and kuhambe kwahamba ngacala ke MC nasenkonzweni. I grew up Holiness HUC, groomed by umama uPipi Mahlangu lapha eMasamendeni. She's running a fruit and veg lapha eMasamendeni. I was ngigruma uyu mama, so nangiloko ngikhula iloko iya mina I thought ukuthi nakuloko kuthiwa you are a good MC kanti kunalento bayibonayo mina ngingayiboni kanti izokhula to an extent yokuthi no man, this man is called. But it was then confirmed by Bishop Umagwinya, they used to call him Umagwinya, Selby Ntlabati. And as you know, we are all human beings. Whenever you say you are ordained by that man, then I went on worshipped uNkulunkulu until I met Apostle Masego from Rutabi saying, he then confirmed it again to say, no man, this is not just an MC, but this man, and until then I met my spiritual father, who's Apostle Ngobo, Unkosnati Patrick Ngobo, yes. So that's when lento say Pumage with vele ikhona lento mfundisi, ikhona lento. I'm an evangelist yilaba abakhahlela idindi kuphuma umuntu. Akusilaba abakucocelayo ukuthi igama elithi Abraham lisho ukuthini not. Now we just kick.
So man of God, how do you juggle between all these things? Because you are a businessman also.
Yes.
You are a councillor.
Yes.
What?
104, City of Tshwane, what 104, yes.
How do you do this? And before we go there, ukhona kanjani ukwenza lezi zinto lezi? I've learned that you are a family man. You are a father, you are a husband.
A family man, yes. A father of 7.
Wow.
A father of 7.
You must, I think you must give me 3.
A father of 7. Yes. Man of God, I'll be honest with you. You know, even when I got to meet my Apostle Ungobo and see the verse, the standing verse of the church, you call it and when you seek him, his kingdom and his righteousness, all shall be added. You know, I come from a party in Piloniami where I thought it be pelile ngami, man of God. But God wenza lento ekuthiwa restoration.
Yes.
Now ngikhona understand le gama elithi restoration ukuthi akayi restore into engakazi bekhona. Once it says it means lento ke yabakhona. So restoration ngayibona ke yami impilo, man of God. There was a time I lost everything. I lost everything. I was married, lost everything. Got even my divorce decree, everything. You know, I may look young, but I've seen it all. I've seen it all. So in that...
So what you're trying to say was this is the second marriage?
This is the second marriage, man of God. This is a second marriage, as I'm saying. This is a second marriage, which God blessed me with a very beautiful wife, God-fearing woman, a prophet of God. Somebody will tell you before you leave, Wuti, no man, I think you must go there, but don't go there at 10, as they've said 10, go there at 12.
Yeah.
Or just, or no, they want you at 10, go there at 8. And you ask, why so early? No, the Spirit of the Lord says so. So God blessed me, and I got to understand when they say behind every successful man, there's a God-fearing woman. Yeah, because some other people will say there's a beautiful wife. No, it doesn't work like that.
This sound amazing, man. Of course.
Yes.
This sound amazing because I can even hear the tone now when you're talking about your family. Your face lighting up. It shows that you love your family.
Man of God, if I have to lose everything just to have my family with me, then let it be. If there's anything that they know, it's just that we are on TV, I won't call, I won't say the name that I used to call them with, but we don't even call each other Papa, Mama, Sesi. There's a name we use, which was used for people who come from outside our country. When they get here, we used to give them those names, which literally means they left their kids, they came here. So, but we call each other that. You will be surprised. Even my mom, everybody also to me, especially those, my family, they know. I always call them that.
You're talking 7 children here?
Yes.
7?
Yes. 7.
Wow. So how do you... The previous marriage, how many?
Okay, from the previous marriage.
Or 7 is from one marriage or both of them?
Okay, it's from both of the marriages. One is from Uputu Opa, Pra Opa. Yeah, my firstborn is from Pra Opa. Ngangithi ngiyadlala nami kanti ngizodlala kabi. But then the 2 are from my previous marriage. Then mangihlangana nonkosikazi wami, she had 3. It means we are now having 6. So we had to then, no man, let's have one ozokwazi ukuthi nakalula lezandla babambe bonke. Yeah, we then had a very handsome young man, Uzanokuhle. We called him Uzanokuhle because he just brought.
Uzanokuhle means someone who brings beautiful things.
Beautiful things. So, and he has lived up to his name. Whenever he's around, you'll just laugh. And he has his own way of bringing. He's very young. He's 3 turning 4 in October, but he has his own way of making sure that he brings all of them into one. Whenever you buy something for this one, he will say, but and so. And if there's anything endlini engathi ayikho right, sisheshe siyibone ngaye. Yeah, so he's just...
He brings peace in the house.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that this is the elevation point with Tsepo, and then we are talking to Muruti Mabona. I know this man for a long time now, and then I'm learning a lot from him right now. And I believe that now in Lapekaya, you will learn a lot from this man. He's doing a lot of things. He's a counselor, he's a Muruti, he's a businessman. And tell us about your business, man of God.
Man of God,
how is it going?
I'm in another business where if I will to say it's going good, then people will. I'm a funeral practitioner, man of God. I'm a funeral practitioner. So
there is a name for the funeral practitioner.
Yes, people.
No,
angisebenzi moshara. I'm a funeral practitioner.
Wow.
Yes. So people have their own way of looking at it. But I'm glad to in my area, people got to see the bigger picture, to say we are there solemnly to assist them, to make sure that they bury their loved ones with dignity and just make it ngale ndlela esicabanga ukuthi nasiyenze ngaleyo ndlela, then bazoyithanda. So sibe nalo ke uthando endaweni yangakithi. And I was groomed by a very talented naye wayenalo izinto eziningi nje lo baba. He's late, ubaba Ufani Mtimunye. Brafani, yes, well known as Brafani. I was groomed by that man, growing up without a father figure, only looking up to Malume, a brother to my mom. And then I met with ubaba Mtimunye since 2004 up until he passed on. Babu Mtumuye in 2017, he has been nothing but a great father to me. And so I owe everything I have to him, actually. He has been just an amazing dad to me. So growing up in that hand, it was a very tough hand. So growing up from that hand, it was easier for me after he passed on, may his soul rest in peace, to just blossom and go on. And I then met guys from Springs. We came up with something, then we went on with what we are doing today.
That's amazing.
And it's all because of his care, love, and
So this shows Oguti, if there is a young man out there who doesn't have a father, he can look up to someone up until abalento afuna ukuba yona ngaphandle.
Exactly, man of God. It's just that the two people who made me who I am today had passed on. But there's one remaining. I will tell you why. After I completed my matric, I met a guy called Shadrach Mahlangu. He was a twin to Mishak Mahlangu. They were twins. They are well-known twins in the area.
I know them.
Unfortunately, he passed on. So with that, man of God, I grew up with him. He made sure that I have that brotherly figure where I was the firstborn at home, so everybody cried to me. I had no one to cry to. But meeting Shadrach, I cried to him. We worked together in a factory called Gulfood. It was called Gulfood at that time. We worked together like Ekandastria, but at some point, he was working with us, but during weekends goes to work a funeral parlor. So I joined him there on my weekends, and since that day till today, I've loved that job.
You can't believe what I'm going to tell you now about Shadrach.
Yes.
He's the man who taught me how to ride a bike.
He taught you how to ride a bike. He taught me how to how to drive a car.
Wow.
When I first met him, he will. Fortunately, he has passed on, and fortunately, no. I don't think it's the right word. But what I'm trying to say is that ubaba uMthimunye bekangamgijimisa nakangezwa lento. I think wherever they are in heaven, bazawucabana. We used to take imoto kababa uMthimunye sambe naye siyongcwaba masiceda athi no, let me teach you how to drive, because
so that's how you've learned to drive.
Yes, ekhaya kwakungana moto. That's how I learned to drive. I remember sisuka kwenye indawo bathi kwaGafontein D eVryheidsgewacht. We drove on a gravel road from there until Laikangala MPS. I didn't know by then ukuthi kune gravel engasithathi sizofika la, where we'll just drive. Ngafundiswa uShadrach ukudriver and everything, and he made sure ukuthi ngithola nelicense yonke into. Uthe makaqeda ukungifundisa, he then said to ubaba uMthimunye, but this man is smart, man. Bona ukugcoka kahle, nakangaba udriver angaba right. Ubaba uMthimunye said, no, but I got a license. What? No, drive all right. And when he said to right, mina ngisathuka ngingedwa. Bangifaka ngelinye ilanga. I remember I did a funeral eOkai nge-Volvo automatic. And when I came back there, wonke umuntu wayethi, hey, you look smart and you can drive, but how? Then I was taken in ubaba uMthimunye. I never spent even a single cent to get a license. Baba Mthimunye took me to a driving school just to polish my brush ups. I went to my pala learners yam. Fortunately, ke ubusmart nyana lobu lekhanda uNkulunkulu walenza labalukhulu nyana wa add ezinye izinto. So kwaba ukuthi I passed because that's where he said, I'm going to assist you, but go and do it yourself. He gave me mali but to do it, but he said, you go and study K53, because I don't want the driver no, show me something. I went mangbuya nayo. He said, no, let's do it. Then I got my license.
May their souls rest
in peace.
I think the way you are talking about them, it shows like they were very great men. Man of God, tell me, ukhona njani? I mean, lezi zinto zikhulumile ziningi kakhulu for a young man like you. I know ubaba, but you still look young. And then I'm asking myself, Lana, Uguti, out of all these things, how do you do politics? How do you do business? How do you do family? How do you do church? And then as a community builder, can I call you I think I have a right to say you're a community builder because of you've been there for your community.
Yes,
and it seems like you love your community. But the question that I'm having now, Uguti, ukhona njani?
But of course, I think the only thing that assists me ukuthi ngikhona ukujika among zonke lezi zinto ukuthi yonke into engiyenzayo ngiyenza with love.
Yeah.
So once uzihlanganisa lezi zinto zonke zine family, zine community ngaphakathi.
Yeah.
If I have to preach, I will preach to the community. If I have to do a funeral, I will be assisting a community. In politics, I will be. So at some point, what I was doing as a funeral practitioner and as a pastor led me to be a counselor because I came out of nowhere. Remember, I didn't hold any position. I had no position in the ANC prior to me becoming a counselor. After I went to the EFF and came back in 2017, no position. That is why to other people, to accept because people will be like, if you must go through be a secretary, chairperson, and all that, and that's what I did in the youth league prior going to EFF. But coming back, I was just welcomed, and I sat back and said, no, I'm done with politics. Only to come to a point where Guza comrades and say, we've got candidates, but we think with you, we can reclaim Award 104 back to the ANC and back to its glorious days. So then nami nangikala ngithala abadlala ngami la bafuna umthengisa la bayangilontsha in politics we always say bayangilontsha and they then said no man labantu bathi bayangilontsha la. But I was humbled when fortunately for the first time in the history of ANC, the ANC used to they will go to a PGM, elect a leader, then put it on the posters. But this time around, the ANC said, no, we are going to elect 4, take them to the community, then the community chooses one, and then we take it to IEC. Before we go to IEC, we are going to confirm these 4 with the community, and the community must give us 1. We then went to the community. You'll be surprised, man of God, always when I look at those results, I'm humbled because with the numbers that I had, the 3 other guys,
those who were competing with you.
Yes, even if they were to go into a coalition, and combine their
this means the community itself
decided. Yes, the community decided.
They believed in you.
Exactly. That is why whenever a community calls me, I'll jump from wherever I am, because I understand that the community believed in me, and who am I to disappoint them?
So in your cycle, the community comes first.
Community comes first.
But man of God,
obviously after my wife and my kids.
No, that's really funny. I've been following you.
Yes.
My social platforms, especially Facebook.
Yes.
I see sometimes the very same community that they've elected you.
Yes.
They are taking you. How are you taking that?
Man of God, when you'll understand, during the Last Supper, Christ said, the person who will sell me, school.
Yeah, the one who will sell me.
Yeah. Is the one engizodla naye one.
Yeah.
In this, not in the same table, but in the same bowl, the same sitsha, yilo ngizodla naye. Now it means bekasho ngento ayishoyo ukuthi umuntu ozongithengisa yilo engizodla naye. Now uyeza uJudas uyadla. Sekadlile uJudas. Akathi ngoba uwe then suka ungasahambi nami ngoba vele sengiconfirmed ukuthi wozongithengisa. Let's say uJesu was not sure ukuthi ubani, but bekazi ukuthi uNkulunkulu said to him, yilo ozodla naye. Sekadlile noJudas, bekufanele athi, ay, ndoda, ngamane ngambe nale 11 wena sala.
Yeah.
But uchubeka naye because bengeke afike kwi Calvary if angekho uJudas. Now, whenever people say bad things or whatever, and right, you know, people will always write. Bababhale the way bafuna ngakhona, bakhulume the way bafuna ngakhona, kokunye to drive endleleni, somebody akuphazamise uthi na uthi bathi oh cabanga ukuthi sizokudrivisa kahle ngoba uyicancel. Yabona into nyazi ezinjalo. Bese ngiba nalento ukuthi ukuze ngiyofika la ngiyakhona kufanele ngidlule kulezinto. Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, no one knew anything about them. But nabaceda ukuphuma emlilweni wonke umuntu wayethi hey labafana bakuphi laba bayi3 abaphuma emlilweni. So that story sisodwa siyang inspire to say one day I want people to say but wakuphi mara lo muntu okhone ukuphuma kiyo yonke lenyaka le, because there's a time la they will write something oyibonayo ukuthi le mara lo muntu uyicabange kanjani phela la amanga lihlaza abhalele into nje.
So uthi bayayi orchestrate kahle bahlale phansi bayihlele kahle ukuthi na uya going
to an extent yokuthi enye na uthi uyayibheka uthi hey yena ngathi yangifanela yas but ke ubone ukuthi people bayakwazi, you know. But ke there's one statement going back to Baba uBrafani Mtimunye. He once said there are only 2 people right empilweni. 2 men of God.
Yes.
2. And after saying this, nanoma ingaphela le interview, I think I would have said into ngifuna ukuyisho. There are only 2 people right empilweni. The one ohambile nalozayo.
Hey.
2.
Only 2.
2 people
The
right
one who's gone,
nalozayo.
the one who's coming.
The one okhona will never be right.
That's power.
In politics, we said uZuma kafundanga, he must leave. uZuma nakaceda ukuhamba kungena uComrade Ramaphosa, we say Comrade Ramaphosa unemali zakhe angeke adle imali zethu. But now we are saying bese ngana load shedding during uZuma's time, Ramaphosa must leave. So even in school, the principal alright ilok ohambile, they will always refer and say kubu principal ubani bani bekasese khona lokho ngaba kwenzeki.
So when currently
we're not current, you'll never be good to people, because remember, being a councillor, man of God, I have to serve, say, more than 14,000 households. Now, let's say a certain department comes and says, in Msebenzi, councillor, sifuna abantu abayi 100. Out of the 14,000, kufuneka 100. Obviously, nanoma ngasebenzisa yiphi indlela yokuchasha, the fact that wena ngichashanga, I will always be wrong to you.
Yeah.
Nanoma ngabe ngisebenzise yiphi indlela, I will always be wrong to you. So same goes with being a pastor. I will come to church. I'm a human being, remember. Ngifike ebandleni ngiphaka imoto, athatha ama-ushers amabhayibheli bangene enkonzweni. Now nami kunaloko bese ngiyakudlula ngingabingelelanga kanti ngikubonile mangihlike emotweni, but nase ngingena kwaba nalento nje engiphazamisayo. From that day onwards, hayi umfundisi lo uyabheda lo akabingeleli nokubingelela. Kanti kwesinye isikhathi we go to church, mfundisi, wena you'll understand, uthola ukuthi ngiphuza amanzi kuphela ekuseni. But when I get to people, I have to be strong for them. As much as uJesu naye, he had to be strong. Alokashaywa, but uPeter nasekasusa indlebe, he had to put it back, because akusinto abizelwe yona. Le abizelwe yona kufanele. That is why uthi uma kukuhle asidlulele sitsha. Now that's what I always say, God, you took me this far, and you had promised, you made a promise which you'll never leave nor forsake me.
Amen.
So ilogo nje ngihlala ngakho.
And then, man of God, you sound like you come from far, but it looks like, again, the journey is still too long. Where can we see you in the next political calendar?
Man of God, I leave everything to God. I think utobhala kahle ama plans wakhe ngathi makhulu. Ngingaba ne plan yami mina ukuthi no, in 2026 I want to come back for my second term, whereas God wants me to be a premier by that time. Bese mina ngizivalele ebhodleleni. So I always say, God, akwenzeke yakho intando in my life, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be where I am today. Just recently, councillors have been killed in KZN. Councillors are killed left, right, and center. Councillors, babaleke ezindlini zabo bayohlala ema-town and all that. I think I'm one of the few councillors osahleli in a ward that elected him, and not because abakaze bangivakashele. Meaning ngamatayera nemililo nayo yonke lento. They once came to my house, and obviously when you go to meetings you will always be attacked and all that, and at some point uthole nama threats and all that. But I always say to God, God, you brought me this far, not to leave me. And if ngizohlambalazeka today, that is why whatever I do, I try to be as transparent and as honest as ever, because whatever I do, it's not only Mabona or Limalayo, but God. Because they will always say, how if u corrupt nabafundis, the tech abayishi, you know, if somebody was to slap umntwana ngempama nasiphuma la, bazothi hayi kunobhutosha umntwana enkangala. But if I were to do exactly the same, before bazokhuluma ngami, bazothi a man of God who is a counselor in Ward 104 city of Tshwane by the name of, before kuzofika lami igama kuzofika uPatrick Machiane kaMabona uKanatla, ufika sekukhulunywe an ANC ward councillor who's a pastor at Kingdom Life Church by the name of. Now, my name elected me. So before I do anything now, I need to think of the two first. And my family, of course, because as you were saying, the messages or the statuses that were running around, the posts that were running around your social media and all that, it is the Babantwana Bam Gakhulu, because at that time, my firstborn uqeda ukwenza grade 12 wakhe, the other two benza grade 11. So yabona sikhuluma ngabantu ama-teenagers la who are all over social media now.
And they are saying all these things.
Lezi zinto zonke zingena lapha, and some of them mabafika esikolweni bazobakhombisa ngamabomu, ubonile bathini ngoba bakho. Now bona esabantwana then kube nzima ukuthi bazongikhomba yona, kanti sengiyibonile mina, because ezinye zezinto uyayibona nje okay, uzibona nje ukuthi lezi zinto zenzeka. Now yonke lento, man of God, iyehlela phezu kwethu as family. Now that's when thina as family we need to then close all loose ends, siwa and make sure that we stay together and sikwazi ukudlula kulento, because it's not only mina olahlekelwa impilo but nabantwana. Because abantwana bami whatever bazoyenza, if umntana bazofika esikoleni aphethe drumstick, kufanele ngithi ubaba bakho ikhansela udla imali zabazali bethu. If umntana bazofika esikoleni ibruku lidabukile edolweni.
Abantwana bakho, how do they handle all these things? Do you sit them down and talk to them and tell them, Uti, this is my battle, or it's battle family, or how do you do it?
Fortunately, man of God, as I said, Uti uNkulunkulu ungibusise kenye indlela. I always ask myself, nangibheka unkosikazi wami, and say, but God, kwenzakaleni la? You know, I've got this strong woman who most of the zotin lawa sendlini avela thwalwe uye, and make sure ukuthi ngithi ngifika mina ayiniwe. Instead uzothola bona abantwana sebathumela ama message kupapa papa lokhu naloku uzondlula, and then bese uyazibuza ukuthi but how, because labantwana kufanele ngabe yimi engibakhuthazayo. So ilento ngisho ukuthi they find themselves kuhome yamshade ukuthi if they look nice vele
Komuyamshaya.
angikiri papa bona ujatsheleta rina. If they look bad, how kanjani ubaba bo ayikhansela, you know.
Yeah.
So they are always in that shuthi nangabe bayadla kufanele ngabadle kakhulu and akufanele ngabalambe futhi because balamba kanjani ubaba bo ayikhansela. Basutha kakhulu kufanele basutha ngithi ubaba ayikhansela. So those are some of the issues, and it really disturbs them, but again, they are very strong, man. Obviously, having a strong mom like Umawabo, one of them, she's a businesswoman.
Oh.
yeah. I won't say a business girl because
she's a businesswoman.
she has grown
Uzara, yeah.
kakhulu kune age yakhe, and at some point, abanye bazo order whatever she's selling and take advantage ukuthi umntana kakhansela nakufanele babhadale kube netorinyana. So these are some of the things ezenzakalayo, man of God, but ke bayakhula, and I'm glad uNkulunkulu unginikeza abantwana abamsabayo futhi yeah abamsabayo uNkulunkulu. So far abantu ababonke basese kwi track nje.
We thank God
Yes.
for them. We thank God for them. Ladies and gentlemen, let's kalibala re sale mo the elevation point le Tsepo wa Mahlare. We came to the end of our show, man of God. We really thank God for you. You sound like you love your community, you love your family, and we've seen leaders who are doing a lot of things out there. The community, but with you, whatever you said right now here, it shows that your community. You always believe in your community, and we wish you all the best. But before we release you, man of God, there is a young man out there who is losing hope. There is a young man out there who doesn't have parents, especially a father. What can you say to that young man? How can you encourage that man to keep pushing on?
Man of God, how did I get isenemi yakamashiyane ngiwumabona? Ubaba ushiya uma nami ngimncane, and I'm answering your question Mfundisi uzoyithola. Ushiya uma nami ngimncane, uma sekufanele ayoshada nawo sekufanele ngisale kagogo. Now it means ngilahlekelwa uma, ngilahlekelwa ubaba. Now I'm saying to a person onganabazali, ngilahlekelwa uma uyoshada, ngilahlekelwa ubaba ongakaze abe sempilweni yami. Fortunately he came back just recently, but at that time akekho. Now sekufanele ngijagile around ukuthi nasila kagogo umunye uzothi mami nakose ngithi malume gogo, akukho la ngithi baba mama khona. But I think God was preparing me for a time like this, because izinto ezenzeke empilweni yami ngaleso sikhathi zenza ukuthi manje ngithi Nkosi, if ungidlulise lapha bekuyini lokho. Uyayibona leyo nto, ngibe nalento ukuthi if ngikhona ukudlula lapha bekuyini lokho. So to somebody othi akunabazali, because obviously whenever you interview lamadoda abhemizi idakamizwa nani, they will tell ukuthi hey, abazali bami bebathanda ubani, mina banganandaba nami, hey abazali bami this, hey mina omunye nawuthi yambuza no bengilaya abazali bami, omunye it was because of bamnika imali yokukhera wacabanga ukuthi ningi wathenga into ezirong. So ngicabanga ukuthi wonke umuntu une stake sakhe la emhlabeni, unendlela uNkulunkulu ambekele ukuthi uzophila ngayo. But at the same time engakusho ukuthi a person must discover ukuthi ubani. Once you discover ukuthi ubani, forget about umano baba. Find yourself. Once you find yourself and say mina ngiulo ngifuna ukwenza so, then you are done. Because fortunately I met lamadoda engikhuluma ngawo, Shedrack Mahlangu no Babu Brafani, but it was a very later stage in my life ukuthi bengenza noma yini enye before meeting with them, but ukuhlangana nabo kwangisiza. At the same time ugogo had elinye uthando nje ngami. So thina we look for uthando lekudeni siyofuna ubaba noma kanti uNkulunkulu has entrusted ugogo ngawe. Uyofuna uthando kubaba noma kanti uNkulunkulu entrusted uanti ngawe. So mina I always say wherever la ngikhona khona uNkulunkulu had a plan ngokuthi ngibe lapho, and there's a reason why ngilapho. That is why I always make sure ukuthi in council njengoba ngikucancel ngiyangifuna ukuthi mangiphuma ngaleso sikhathi engizophuma ngaso kushiwo nje ukuthi kwake kwaba no Chancellor othize. Shedrack uMeshach no-Abednego bathi even if uNkulunkulu angeke asikhiphe noma ke kungenzeka ke angasikhiphi but sifuna kwazeke ukuthi there were these 3 guys azange bavume ukukhothama. So I always say nanoma ngabe kwenzakalani I'll never bow to uSathane. And uSathane ufika kanjani? No wena unababa, no wena umama kekho, no wena loku, no wena loku. And once you discover ukuthi ubani, you discover the purpose why you are here, then God is
Uthole purpose yakho, uzothole impilo.
That is why ngisese full time ku radio I used to say uzima ngeza kusendaweni la umusa wakhe inando yakhe nephazumulo lakhe zingeze zikhamba nawe khona. Every time nakakufaka entweni noma ungena entweni uthanda umusa wakhe intando yakhe nenkazimulo yakhe zihamba nawe. That is why uzothi noma sowuphakathi bese bayabuzana abantu bathi mara lo man akafanelanga ukubalana lo ungene kanjani and ebengithi ngigcina ngayo ke bese ngithi thathe Tito 2 if umuntu ungakwazi ukuthanda uthethelele uyithibe uthobe bese uyathula. Thathe Tito 2 uyathanda uzifundisa ukuthi nanoma ngabe abazali bakwenzeni just love them, bathethelele, forgive them, and not abazali kuphela but whoever ohlangene naye, then uzithibe hold yourself. Uzithibe because kuba nezimo la ubona khona ukuthi but umfundisi uMahlari ufuna siye enkonzweni and kunabangani bami bathi nasingayorufa lapha ebhenki singathola imali, then you find yourself uzithibe and hold yourself ube nayo lento ukuthi no man not this time. And nangabe kukhona la ngathi as we are saying ama-post ayangena kuba namanye ama-post umuntu ayibhale ufune ukuthi mara ubani lobhala into enje uthole nokuthi ubani. And kwesinye isikhathi kube mhlungu uthole ukuthi lo muntu obhale lento it's one of the people okwabasiza empilweni who should be saying good things about you but usho bad because umsizile what now fanele usuke uyosiza abanye wafila kwangathi like in politics man of God ipolitiki ngenye indlela your friend today is your enemy tomorrow. Your enemy today is your friend tomorrow. That's why I always treat people with amaglove amahle because I don't know ukuthi lo naye namuhla uzoba yini kusasa. Ngoba if namuhla kune tender thizena I give it to you, then uba mahlangu lapha uhleli ulindile. Kusasa ngithi no man I gave you asinikeze umahlangu. Kuwe kuthi no, kushuthi mina akasangifrustani. That's the language they will use. Akasangifrustani. Should say, should ikhona into uMahlangu ayikhulume ngami kuye sebazwana. Yabona leyo nto leyo. So those are such some of the things. Okay. So ke thanda uthethelele uzithibe uthobe bese uyathula because now nasifika kuthoba iBhayibheli lithi mabazithobe bonke ababizwa ngegama lami.
Amen.
And ngizakuba ngesikhathi esifanele.
Amen. Man of God, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. Thank you for coming. May God bless you. May God lead you.
Yabona bakhuluma umprofeti kaNkulunkulu vele ungasazi ukuthi I receive but thank you very much man of God and I don't know why but this is what will go to our history books to say I was the first ever.
Amen. The first ever.
No, but thank you very much, man of God.
We really appreciate you. It really took us, some time. So we are happy that you came, and then we just wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, man of God. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Us and Ours. Us and Ours. And this is the elevation point. With Tsepo. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're the only one that saw me in my shame. Clean me up and gave me a new name. Told me that I'm free, I'm not the same. All I wanna be is like